thing that I hate realizing is the fact that I'm like too poor to have hobbies. Like the things I want to get more into are watercolor, sewing, and making floral arrangements. Guess how expensive it is to take these classes? It's like you got to spend hundreds of dollars just on taking a class. Obviously you can teach yourself and learn at home, you know, but part of the reason why you want to get into hobbies is so you can like get out of the house and like meet other people, you know what I'm saying? Then you got to purchase all the shit that you need, which is like more hundreds of dollars. And like having ADHD means that I've just spent so much money on like a bunch of different fucking hobbies, and then I get a little bit into them and then I stop. But yeah, that's why I want to take classes, so like I know what the fuck I'm doing, but it's so expensive. Come on.
Hello everyone, this is Emmanuel Cook. We will be reacting to a new video today, so make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's get into the video.
I have a PSA for all the girlies out there who are loving their hot girl walks and are like, wow, I should start hiking. So then you start said hike and realize, I need to buy new shoes. And then you start to go on longer hikes and realize, I need to buy a new backpack to carry all my snacks and all my water comfortably. And then you're like, wow, hiking's so much fun. I want to do this more. So you start camping and you buy a whole gear of things for camping. And then there comes a day where it's too hot to hike. So you decide to get into paddleboarding. So you do that all summer long, paddleboarding, hiking, camping. Winter comes along. Oh, I'm gonna like get back into skiing, which takes out a whole mortgage just to get onto the mountain, let alone get a whole kit. Spend many years acquiring various different new ski gear, things like that, and now there's this really strong pull to be like, wow, I should backcountry ski. No. Like the amount of money I've already spent just to do resort skiing, and then like backcountry, you have to get a whole new setup, and then also, you know, a beacon, a probe, take the course. It's like that in itself is a whole nother mortgage. Regardless, spend all winter skiing, having fun, all that. Springtime rolls around. And I'm like, I should like really get into trail running. New shoes, obviously. And I live in Colorado, so obviously I also need to buy a bike. So if you're out here thinking like your little hot girl walks that turn into a hike are gonna be so fun and like affordable and all that stuff, think again. This stuff adds up like crazy, and it just keeps getting you. And more, the more time you spend outside, the more you're like, I need to do everything.
And why is snowboarding and skiing so goddamn expensive to get into? And when I tell you, just on the pair of pants and the jacket alone, $1,500. And no, I'm not gonna go searching at thrift stores or Facebook Marketplace for off-brand shit. I was just never that type. I wasn't raised like that. And then you gotta get the fucking gear. Helmet, goggles, boots, bindings, and boards. We're gonna rent that stuff. We're gonna rent the boots and the bindings and the board just in case we don't like it, because this is our first time doing something like this. But if you are going to get into something like this, start collecting your shit 2 years prior to your trip. You're bound to spend $2,500 before you even go down the mountain one time. The ski lifts, $125 per day per person. And I came to find out that's one of the cheaper ski lifts. Some of them are like $250 a day, $300 a day. Like, I am not Shaun White himself. Whoever took the natural occurring snow that comes from the sky and falls onto the ground into the mountains decided, you know what, I'm gonna capitalize on this shit and make this one of the most expensive things in the world. We hate you.
Motocross is easily one of the most expensive and physically demanding sports in the world. Let's go over why that is. For fun, we'll just start with how much money I spent today. I spent $40 at the track today to ride. I paid $400 for a can of gas that I needed. Race gas, and then $300 AEO for maintenance parts that I needed, and then $130 in gas to fill up the van. So including the food that I bought because I was gone for so long, I need to eat so I didn't pass out, that's around $900 for just today. Not to mention, I rode all day, which is one of the hardest things to do physically. You're like 190 heart rate for hours, and I have to come home, prep my bike, I have to get it ready, I have to wash it, change the oil, you know, all that good stuff. And then not to mention, I need to find time to work out, stretch, take an ice bath, figure out my food because I'm on a very strict diet for my health and stuff. And then the worst problem of them all, figure out finances and how I'm gonna afford to go race in Washougal. And you guys may be thinking, wow, that sounds like the life. No, it's not. I'm losing hair at 20 years old because this sport fucking takes it out of you like no other. It's brutal. I don't think many people could do it, to be honest with you. Like, At least what I'm doing. I don't have a team and stuff. This shit, it sucks. It's really hard. There's a reason I'm struggling every day at the track riding. It's because I have too much going on.
Coming from a collecting background, I can't just buy and read books, I have to collect them. Why get the US editions when you can get the UK editions? Why get the regular editions when you can get the deluxe editions? Why just get the deluxe edition when you can get the signed deluxe edition? Why just get the hardcover when you can get the signed hardcover? Of the entire set before you even started reading it. Do I have a problem?
How much do you think this costs? Do you think these three, plus another Kodak one, costs? It actually doesn't make a difference on the brand. But you don't know about expensive paint till I'm stood there taking a picture of this and I'm the dickhead that's got paid to get them developed. Yeah, as to why the fuck have you stopped developing them on a cheap, yeah? Cause he lives, we need you back in this crisis. I've gone everywhere. What I'm about to pay to go and get these three, and then I've got another one that's got 4 fucking pictures left. Thor, start taking some nudes and selfies. Shock the fucking man, maybe bribe him a little bit. And just when you thought expensive paint doesn't get any worse, I got these two. This one's a goner. When she's old school, yeah? But when I extend her, she don't work. So if you are a Polaroid expert, engineer, don't know what you call you, don't even know what I look for you, my phone shop don't fix it. She's new here, she's a new addition. What's wrong with her? Why don't she work? I've changed the battery. I thought my film was dodgy, yeah? But you know, the one thing I like about these is once you pay the expensive paint price of the film, you get the picture. These, are you worth it? There's one camera that's got like half the footage of someone that I don't even fuck with anymore. So I don't even know which one. So I got to pay. I got to pay for you, you little 7 years. I don't want to throw it away. And you're brand fucking new. I got you a year ago. And you gave up on me halfway through the year. And I gave up on you. So the warranty finished. It's a long day. So if you know how to fix Polaroids, please help me. I don't know what's wrong with her. And she needs a new back. And could probably do with saying goodbye, but sentimental, babe.
I'm sick of people saying that their sport's the most expensive. I'm telling you right now, archery's the most expensive. I'm going to prove it to you right now. Bow, $1,500. Arrow rest, $150. Sight, scope, and magnifying lens, $750. Brass back tension release, $250. Competition stabilizers, $150. Weights, $10 per ounce. And I don't know how many ounces are on there, but I'll post it in the video. A dozen custom-built Easton X27 aluminum arrows, $15 a piece times 12. Angel Field Arrow Quiver, imported from Japan, $180 with the belt. Custom SpongeBob release pouch, $30. And this beautiful case, $600. Here's a total. Can't beat me. Not even close.
Today I figured out that I'm financially irresponsible. Don't scroll. Listen to me. You seen that TikTok trend that says every average person spends $225 a year on their hobby? Well, let me tell you, my hobby requires $600 boots just to walk. Also, if you want to get close to your hobby, you gotta have camo. That probably costs another $600. Then, if you want to make sure you come home and you're able to talk to people in case something goes wrong, you need a GPS that costs $800. Then when you do finally see the whatever you're after, you need a good set of glass, which also costs $800. I won't even talk about the boom boom sticks because TikTok will kick me off this app, but yeah. And we haven't even left the house.
I was traveling this weekend, and it's crazy because I almost got caught in that snowstorm. Like Atlanta right now is crazy. Everywhere, all the whole East Coast, down south, it's cold, right? It's cold right now. And what I noticed traveling this weekend was that I said this before, but now it's like, it's getting worse. It's really starting to become overpriced to travel through the states. Like, it's borderline doesn't make sense, like, in a lot of states no more, because it's like overpriced, and it's like the same price that you would pay for. And don't get me wrong, I love Atlanta, I love, you know, Texas and every other place, New Orleans and all that. But I'm like, bruh, to pay, let's just say $400 for a trip, round trip. Maybe if you fly in Spirit, maybe you can get it for like $2 just to like Atlanta, and I love Atlanta. And then a rental car, hotel, like, bruh, you done damn near pay for a trip overseas. I'm talking about like a Barcelona trip can run you about $650, $700 for a round trip, and the hotels are like $110, $120 depending on where you staying at. And you know, when you go to different states, like hotels are like $220, $250. If you want to stay at a decent Marriott or something, you definitely paying like $200, especially on the weekend. And food is expensive. You know what I'm saying? I was even at we was at a I don't want to say a club, kind of like a club. And the drinks wasn't that bad price wise. I expect 2 drinks to be $24, around that price, or $30. I noticed people wasn't even tipping. I'm like, damn, what the hell going on? So it's just like making me realize, like, damn, bro, America is so expensive that it's even expensive just to travel. Like the same amount of money you'll drop going to LA, you paying for a trip to probably like Cancun or something. Like, even maybe, I ain't gonna say Japan, but, or South Korea, because those tickets can get pricey depending on how, you know, but it's damn near gonna balance out the same when you add the hotel and the food, you know what I'm saying, for any of these countries like that I've been to. But yeah, man, I don't know what it is, man, but it's definitely getting more pricey to travel in the States, and I don't think nobody realizing that, because we ain't doing the math like when we going to a Houston or a Texas. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying disrespecting any of those cities, because I've been to all of them and I love all of them, but I'm like, damn, bro, I think people need to reevaluate that. Like, man, you gotta really, like, if you ain't going for family or something like that, I don't know, man, you might want to just go ahead and take that money, go to the Bahamas or something. Go to the Bahamas, Panama. I mean, even Puerto Rico is like, the hotels on the beach area, I was looking them up, they even pricey. I'm like, damn, bro, Puerto Rico wasn't expensive like this. When I was supposed to go, I was just looking up flights for somebody, and I was like, yo, this is, I mean, not flights, but hotels, and I was just like, yo, this is crazy. So I don't know what's going on right now, but yeah, man, it's getting a little pricey, man. Definitely, even a Hawaii trip, round trip, will cost you $650. That's not bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, in hotels out there, because it's a strip, you can probably grab a hotel for like $150, $140, because there's so many hotels on Honolulu, on Waikiki Beach. So I'm like, yo, you might as well go there. You feel me? You might as well go there before you go to a state. Don't get me started about New York, because I was in New York last summer. It was crazy. In Manhattan, for just a Fairfield Inn, they wanted like damn near $300 a night. Like, man, ain't no way. So I don't know, but you know, tell me if I'm wrong, but I just feel like traveling in the States is really becoming too overly expensive, borderline unrealistic, and you might as well take that money and go overseas and have a way better time. I'm just saying, that's just me.
A quick reminder, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's continue the video.
Okay, so I feel like a lot of people don't really know how expensive it is to do swimming as a sport. So I've done competitive swimming now for way over 10 years. And obviously growing up, my parents funded me to be able to do swimming. My dad was a head coach, my brother swam, my dad swam as well, so it was all very much within the family. So for me to be part of my swimming club that I used to be part of in the UK was about £56 a month, and this covered 3 sessions a week, perhaps more. But then also you've got your Swim England fees on top of that. So that is just to be a member of Swim England, so then you can train in a club. If you want to compete in a club, you then have to pay a separate membership, which is more expensive than the normal membership that you pay, but nothing to do with the club membership. Confusing. Then if we get onto the actual training side of things, this is where it starts to get really expensive. So for your training swimming costumes, you're looking at between £30 and £40, maybe cheaper, you can get them in the sale, but you are doing so many sessions a week. You're doing morning sessions, evening sessions, so a lot of the time you need a rotation of swimming costumes, so that is expensive in itself, because you need genuinely like 5 or 6 just to get by. Then you've got hats and goggles on top of it. Like training goggles are like £15 to £25. You can pay more for racing goggles. I'll get onto that in a minute. Hats, normally you pay with part of the swimming club, so I think I paid like £4 to get my hat as part of my swimming club. Okay, but then when we get onto the racing side of things, this is when it's literally unreal. So if you want a pair of racing goggles, I've just had a quick look through just to see like how much things are nowadays. Racing goggles, 80-90 pounds, like unreal. Obviously you don't have to go top of the range, but top of the range stuff is sitting around that price. Now the racing skins, that I promise you guys, if you're not into swimming, this is going to blow your mind. So racing swimming costumes for females can be around £500, if not more. Now the worst thing about this is that you need to constantly replace them. So these costumes are only designed for like a handful of races. Like if you're going to compete at an elite level, you would need to get a solid rotation of racing skins. However, I just had one and I change it maybe every 1 year or so. But yeah, between £500 and £600. Then if you want a specially designed racing hat, you're looking at around £40. You don't have to. I mean, I never had a racing hat. Perhaps that's why I never got further than what I did, but perhaps not. So yeah, that's a brief, very, very brief roundup. That doesn't include fins, floats, pool buoys, bags, bottles, nutrition, physio, sports massage, land training experts. Like, that doesn't include anything of that. So I can go into more detail if you like, but that's a little insight into swimming costs.
At this point in my life, I don't really have any hobbies. But at the age of 2 years old, I have always wanted to fly a plane. But dude, it's expensive, man. It's like, I think 150 or 180 per hour for flight school. Like, it's just ridiculous. 150 to 180 per hour. And I need 40 hours to get my pilot's license in order to fly alone. 40 hours. That is easily over, I think, $4,000 or $5,000. 180 times 40. It's actually crazy. But if I would do any hobby, it would be learning how to fly planes. I think that it is a unique hobby and it would be really fun, honestly. So I have a question for you guys. What are your hobbies? And are they expensive?
I am a week and a half into apparently what is the most expensive hobby to take on, and I would agree with that. I think that needlepoint is quite expensive, and yet here I am, second trip to the local needlepoint store, or as apparently it is called, LNT, because there are also acronyms in this hobby, as I am learning. I have only stitched this, so that's where we are. That's what we've done physically. Mentally, we have created an entire business plan. We have lots of ideas. We've theoretically got business names, business pages. I want to skip to the finishing. I want to skip to the painting of the canvases. Basically, I want to quit my job. We should not do that, but mentally, that's where I am. It could have been the hurricane, or it could be the chlorine gas. We might blame the chlorine gas in Atlanta. Regardless, here we are. You know, if I'm being honest, I don't actually even like the look of needlepoint. I think I just believe so firmly that I can make something work. Why I chose the most expensive thing, I don't know. But I believe that I can make myself fall in love with needlepoint and also fall in love with it in a way that allows it to be accessible for other people, because I don't really like the idea that this is super expensive, and for many years I would not have been able to even afford trying it. So stay tuned, because I think we should all be able to get nice little dopamine hits and not need weeks to do a project. But yeah, I don't even know that I like the look of needlepoint, really. I would like to make it more modern. I would like magnets, and I would like pins and keychains, and coasters that actually look nice to me. But alas, here we are. Haven't even finished one project, so don't listen to a word that I say. I am just a professional needlepointer in my head. But I am pretty proud of the work that I've done so far. Not bad for a first try. And we've got blank canvas, a ton of blank canvas now, so I can make all the projects that I have in my head. And then we got some new threads, some pretty colors. How's everyone else staying sane during this insanely chaotic time before an election?
Here's why reading is the most expensive hobby I've ever had. Did I run to the store to get the Iron Flame version of the Sprayed Edges when it came out? Absolutely. Did I also buy it on the Kindle because I refused to lay in bed with a book that thick and read it? Also yes. I have to be comfortable. I have no money left.
Can we talk about the price of summer camp? I know that parents have already been in like a frenzy talking about the price of childcare and how that has gone up and it's unaffordable. But summer camp is well on its way there, and for some of these camps, it's already there. My daughter's in-home daycare costs $180 a week, and we are so grateful for that. But my oldest daughter is in summer camp right now, and the gymnastics price is $185 per week. And of course, the price goes down a little bit as you increase the number of weeks that your child attends. So we're going to go ahead and keep her in for the month of July. So we'll be paying $155 per week. Cool. But it literally includes nothing extra. They don't provide any food. They don't feed these kids breakfast. They don't feed them lunch. They don't even provide snacks. Now, they sell snacks, but they don't provide them, and they're not included in the price. We paid the registration fee. That was $50, and it did go toward that week, toward that first week. The shirt was $20, which was not included. That was additional. And then every week, every additional week, or every day that she is there, they're asking or having like different events where they're asking for money. Ice cream day, send in $5. Pizza day, $2 per slice. And then, like I said, every day they're selling a snack. It's too much. Why is there not just one flat rate that includes everything at an affordable price? Because it's ridiculous.
Can we talk about how ridiculously expensive campsites have gotten? Like, I'm so frustrated because I'm struggling to find anything under $70 a night without hookups, without water. Like, what? Not only is that frustrating, but it's also frustrating when I'm told on the website, absolutely no vans in a tent site, when you're not providing me anything different for being an RV. And there's like no amenities of these places either. That's just like really getting me. It's times like these where I'm constantly reminded why we rarely book campsites.
Hi, thank you so much for your question. I love jewelry making so much. It's so much fun, but I will say that it is quite expensive. That sheet of metal that I was working off of in the previous video, that cost me a little over $200. That's for 3 inches by 4.5 sterling silver 16 gauge. The class itself is about $500 and it's for 16 weeks. You get the space, tools, teacher. Thankfully, I don't have to pay for it because I work at the school, and honestly, having that free class as a benefit was a big reason why I took the job in the first place. There's a lot of other reasons why I took that job, but like that is a really nice benefit to have working at an art school. And if you want cheaper metals, there's definitely more options like copper, bronze, brass. They're going to be way cheaper than gold or silver. I would say if you're just starting out, get the cheaper metals just to start out with. Try not to buy any tools. See what your local arts college, workshops, whatever, what they provide first, and see if you have to buy something in addition for that, and then work your way up to silver once you get more confident. I will say also, I've only sold like a few stuff, but I have been able to make back what I paid. It's not like a crazy margin, but I'm also like not trying to like make like buku bucks out of it. I'm just trying to like make the art, and like it is nice to like sell it and like sell it to friends and like do trades and stuff, so that it is a lot of fun, and I think that it's definitely worth it. So good luck.
I fear I might have started an expensive hobby.
Oh, please God, no.
But seriously, I don't know how I ended up on the side of vintage watches, but I did, and here we are. I bought my first vintage watch. This is from a brand called Bun Bun O'Clock. She has some incredible vintage watches, and I love her packaging. It came with some cutie little postcards. Oh my gosh, look how cute these are. Some stickers. I love stickers. So imagine a watch that encompasses the ocean, coastal vibes, but like in a watch. This is literally the definition of that. You're not ready. I'm not ready. Look at how beautiful she is. I think it's going to be a little bit big. I did measure my wrist before purchasing because she does have like the sizes. So when I measured my wrist, I was like, damn it, that's going to be a little bit too big. But I think Chris can help me make it a little bit smaller. If you're looking for a new hobby to also start, you know, maybe collecting vintage watches is your thing. Although, yeah, it's a very expensive sport, so.
And paying Chris to adjust it.
I'm not paying him shit. Anyways, very excited. Very happy with my purchase.
You could bet that.
A quick truth is that last video, hot topic, but like ballet is expensive and it might not be accessible to everybody. Now there are people who learn at home, which is perfectly fine, but I think all the TikTok girlies post all these videos and never talk about the financial implications. Like, ballet was my first love, but the reason I stopped is because my parents couldn't afford it, and now I'm privileged enough to have my own income and to be able to explore this hobby, but not everybody has that. The clothes are expensive, the classes are expensive, the shoes, even to start off, are kind of expensive if you want a decent pair, and then especially if you get put onto point. So I don't want to deter anybody from taking this hobby or not trying this hobby, because I absolutely love it and I'm an advocate for it, but I think it's just something to be aware of, especially if you're paying for other gym memberships and you're adding this on. It's just an extra expense. So
Lennox, here's some list of hobbies that I know that I play. You have tennis, you have golf, you have sailing, you have yachting, you have equestrian, you have polo, a lot of outdoor sports such as skiing, you have snowboarding. Another one is, I will say, hunting. A lot of people didn't mention this in the comments, and this is a rich hobby. You have wine tasting. A lot of people mentioned Pilates and pickleball. So that's new, I'd say, but I'll consider it a rich hobby. Another one is cigar lounges, watch collections, car collections. So if I'm missing out some, put it in the comments, as well as just know, guys, when I just came up with this topic, it was just to really encourage people to start new things. And the rich hobby thing, you know, anybody could join any type of hobby. So don't think that you have to be super wealthy or even or rich to participate in these type of hobbies. Just go out there, play, enjoy it. Starting off, if you're on a budget, start with one lesson, see if you like it. So hopefully, you know, you're trying new things. That's why I did this video, and hopefully you could get out there.
A guy on TikTok said, having an expensive hobby opens doors, and let me tell you, the things I have learned while skiing, insane. Now, I originally started the sport because I wanted something to do in the winter time, so that's where this came from. I think it's been 6, maybe 7 years that I've been skiing, so here are some of the few things. The more expensive the resort, the more money that is being discussed. I feel like that's pretty obvious. And the conversations are generally on the gondolas going up or at the lodge, but not at just the lodge at the bottom, the lodge at the top. You need to go all the way to the top. If you can't ski, this ain't for you. But that's where the season ticket holders are. That's where the people who have been going there since birth. That's where anyone who knows how to ski actually goes. And generally speaking, men will outnumber women. So I've learned how to profile men that are on these slopes. So any guy who looks like he's about my age, you know, millennial, he tends to wear, you know, North Face or Burton or even like those Vans snowboard boots. He's typically a snowboarder too. And his gear is rented. He is new money. He's your tech bro. He's your finance bro, blue eyes, trust fund, whatever. He's usually with his friends and generally talks really loud so you can overhear whatever they're talking about. But the older guys, the ones that look like they can be my dad, they are generally skiers and they typically bring their own gear, and their gear is a brand that's not US based. It's something that you've never even heard of. His outfit isn't form-fitting, but it's also not super baggy. He's more old money, legacy, whatever you want to call it. But whether you're old money or new money, they are both going to ask you, where does your family ski? And how you answer that question determines what they're going to say around you. And that requires you to do your own research. So if you don't want to do that, this ain't for you.
Pottery is expensive, and I'm going to explain to you why. I'm going to touch on this subject because I just did a pottery release and I've sold absolutely nothing, and I can tell you right now, I bet you it's because people think I'm too expensive. Not only that, I'm seeing a lot of drama on TikTok right now about someone buying a cup that they think was overpriced. So let's talk about it. But I'm going to explain it as to why my prices are what they are. So let's start with the basics. Equipment. That wheel there, that's $2,000. This bat system for this thing on top here, and those little bits here, $200. $300 for that. $4,000 for that. Not to mention the cost of running that. One bag of clay ranges from $20 to $40 to $50, depending on the clay. One thing of glaze this big, $35. Now let's talk about paying someone an hourly rate. I'm going to use this as an example. This, I jumped on the wheel, it took me about 5 minutes to throw. But from here, I need to let it dry. Then I'm going to have to trim it, and that can take anywhere between 5 and 10 minutes. Then from there, I'm going to have to make and put on a handle, which will take another 20 minutes. I'm being small, like generous with my, not very generous with my time here. That then needs to dry, then it gets fired for the first time. Then you come in, I mean, for me, I usually sculpt on these mugs, so I will spend anywhere between half an hour to an hour putting decorations on this. So that would be either pre-glazing, so like sculpting this, or afterwards hand painting every single detail on there. If you add up all the time it takes for one mug, I'd say it's about an hour and a half total per mug from start to finish. So say we want to pay ourselves an hourly wage of just $25, like that's below minimum wage. So it's about $35, $40 in just time alone. Then you've got to add on the cost of all the product that you've used. Then you have to add on the time and cost of a website, taking photos, all the equipment that you use. And then you need to factor in the fact that you are buying a piece of art that is usually the only one like it. You wouldn't blink an eyelid if it was a painting or any other form of art, but because it's pottery, people think that it's cheap and easy and quick to make, but it's not. I understand that you can go into a shop and you can buy a mug for $5 or less. They are mass produced. When you buy from a small business, a potter, a ceramic artist, they have poured so much time and money, their heart and soul into that piece. Like, people cannot even begin to comprehend how much goes into the art form. Most days I kind of wish I didn't love pottery so much and that I didn't want to run this as a business, because it is one of the hardest things I've ever done. Yeah, and I'm this close to giving up.
So what's even crazier than the fact that ballet dancers make no money is the fact of how much our training cost that our parents or providers had to pay to get us to this point. I truly think this is going to blow your mind, so let's get into it. So on average, for a dancer from age 3 to 18, parents most likely spend an average of $250,000 on their child's dance career. That's $250,000. That's including things like dance shoes, leotards, tights, dance classes, private lessons, dance competitions, costume, conventions, master classes, hair supplies, makeup, summer dance camps, intensive, etc. So that's just like dancers on a whole. But I want to talk about ballet dancers specifically for 1 second, because it gets even more expensive than that. Now, it is very common for a ballet dancer like myself to move away from home at a very young age to attend a ballet boarding school, which is what I did when I was just 13 years old. I attended ballet boarding school for 5 years. 1 year in North Carolina at the University of North Carolina School of the Arts, and 4 years at the School of American Ballet, aka the best ballet school in the country. Now, I had a very hefty scholarship to my school in North Carolina. I was the very first recipient of a very prestigious award at the school, so my parents didn't really have to pay that much in tuition. But let's talk about SAB. So I got to SAB in 2011, and again, I did have a nice scholarship at SAB as well. Now, I never knew how much my scholarship was for because my parents just didn't share that information with me, but I do know at the time, room and board and tuition was about $25,000. Not to mention the fact that I was living in New York City, literally one of the most expensive cities in the world. So I would go out to eat with my friends, we'd go do activities, etc. Also, where it really got expensive was when it came to point shoes. Now, typically point shoes are like $100 to $150 a pair, but at SAB, the point shoe brand Freed of London sponsors SAB. We got the opportunity to get 2 pairs of shoes for $90. I personally went through about 2 to 3 point shoes a week. That's about $135 worth of point shoes a week, which is an additional $540 a month, which is an additional almost like $5,000 a year. My parents did that for 4 years. Thinking about it, my parents probably spend north of $350,000 a year for all of my dance training from ages 3 to 18. I also want to add that my parents had to work overtime in order to be able to afford my dance training. I'm very grateful and blessed that they were committed to doing that because they knew how much I truly was in love with dancing. But all in all, they spent roughly a little more than $350,000 so that I could live my dream and make $22,000 a year.
This is me with all of my expensive hobbies that I've gotten to. Starting with my $1,500 camera that I used for streaming that I never used for streaming. I did stream for like 4 years, okay? But I always used webcam, and then I got this, and then I was like, I'm sick of streaming. So then I quit, which, you know, streaming was really fun. Different topic. This tufting gun. I got this 3 years ago. Didn't use it. We just pulled it out last night because we decided it was time to finally use it. So I'm excited about that. Oh, what else do we got in this room? Oh, look at that. I got a heat gun because I was going to start making cosplays. I was going to do like a big Metroid Prime cosplay when I was streaming. Didn't end up doing it because that's a lot of work. I got my drill. Yeah, I'm a girl. I got a drill because I have to make this for my rug gun, tufting gun. The list goes on and on and on. There's so many dumb little things that I bought and spent so much money on. Hashtag I'm just a girl with a million little hobbies that never stayed. Oh.
Guys, please don't buy a $1,000 box of cards just for fun. Please don't. It seems like every couple weeks or every week at this point, the most reaction I get from a lot of people, and some of it's pretty passionate response, anytime I mention, the gambling side of the hobby or people wasting money, I've tried to get creative with it a few times, and the living in mom's basement, people buying cards. I mean, it's happening everywhere. It's a ton of people. Man, there's a lot of people who cannot afford the cards that they are buying. And I'm not sure what the hope is. I mean, besides the grading and profit and all that, and then claiming to be part of the hobby, because, it's pointed out to me in a message not too long ago that the majority of people who are opening these packs, it takes them no time, right? I mean, they don't know who the players are. They don't know, they don't care about the base cards. They don't care who they got. Unless they get that chase card, they don't care. Tell me they're in the hobby. They're in the business, right? Or they're in the addiction, which is the main point of the video. I'm convinced the more and more, the deeper I go into this, based on a lot of the response, there is an addiction problem that is masquerading as a card hobby. And some of the larger shows, unfortunately, and as much as I like them, the big ones like Sports Card Investor, the market movers associated with them, Golden stuff, a lot of the huge breaking channels, it is not healthy in the same way that playing poker, at a casino or slot machine is not healthy. One of the guys that sent me a message made the comparison to a scratch-off ticket, and it takes about the same amount of time, and it's about as you're wasting your money. I mean, there's no way around it. So I'm not here to talk to the people who can afford it, who have the disposable income. I'm not here to talk about the exceptions, because there's always somebody commenting saying, oh, I do this or I don't do that. So I know you're out there. I know you exist, right? I mean, there's going to be exceptions. But a large part of the people who are buying these cards from the manufacturers at outrageous prices cannot afford the cards. And even if they did pull a hit, I don't know that they'd be able to afford to pay the upgrade fees to get it graded. But yet they put that in a box and go buy a new one. So I love it too. I recently got a bunch of debt paid off. I'm not going to pretend like it's not calling my name, wanting to go buy some cards, but you got to be careful. I mean, it can suck you in so fast.
It's Sunday and I'm off and I want to go outside, right? But I'm like, I already know if I go outside, it's going to be a whole fucking event, bro. Because I decide to go to the park or go do a walk or a hike or something, I'm gonna need a beer. I need my apple cider. I gotta get my gummies. And God forbid, my vape's dead. So I have to get a new vape. I gotta get gas. And of course I'm gonna wanna do lunch. You know what I'm saying? It's I make outside an entire event and it's gonna cost me $200 just to be outside. And I can't just be outside and not spend money. I don't know why. They have set it up. The system has set it up to know, if you're going to go outside, you're spending money. And they're right, because I can't just go outside and not make it an event. I can't, especially in Colorado. It's you know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's, oh my God. It's so pretty. It's been so cold and frosty the last 4 or 5 days and cloudy. But today it's clear skies. It's 50 degrees. Everyone has their flannel on. Not just me. I'm trying to save money.
I've been thinking about this today, and if I could give my younger self some advice, I feel like one of them would be to utilize more of the extracurricular classes offered in either high school or even college. As an adult who loves having hobbies, let me know why it's so expensive. I was fortunate enough to go to a school that had things like cooking classes, woodwork,
ceramics, etc., and they were all like for free. I mean, built into taxes, I'm sure, but for free. And now they're definitely not free. So if you guys are younger and have access to these classes, please take them, because they are a lot more expensive when you have to pay for them as an adult.
I appreciate you guys watching the video today. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.